I bet. Yeah.
Can you
What's
hear me?
up? Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I made that post a couple. What was that? A week ago now, or 2 weeks ago, or something like
Yeah,
that.
about
I
like
made
two,
that post
2 weeks
about.
ago.
Yeah, I made that post about. I was kind of bored. I was like, I was kind of bored, honestly. And yeah, I think it was when not it was when J. Cole had dropped out.
Mhm.
But then it just got interesting. It just got interesting the last couple of days. I'm glad to have you on since Soul Love is a poet and a rap artist as well. So happy to have you on to get your perspective. Also both from NC. So I want to talk about J Cole, of course. Um, as one of the, I have like three topics in my head. J Cole, just on a rap level basis, and then also on a like I guess on a third topic, a substance level basis, because I feel like I, I have a lot of thoughts on like this because this is different
Mhm.
now because it seems most rap beefs seem like they're like two people have beef with each other and they're just trying to disrespect each other the best they can. This has turned into something a little bit about like I guess the morals of hip hop, the morals of rap, the morals of I mean just moral. It turns into a moral argument a little bit, which is get. I feel like people are not being completely honest. If I'm being honest about that part of it, I feel like, and I kind of wish it didn't go there, but first I want to start with just on a rap basis. We can probably say these things will probably all like flow into each other a little bit as we're talking, but just on a rap basis, let's start there first. Like how I want to get how you're feeling first.
So when you say rap bases, you mean
Uh-oh, you said on a what? Uh-oh, did he freeze? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Oh, you just came back. Okay.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so like when you say on a rap basis, you just mean like the culture of hip hop right now based on what's going on.
Yeah, I mean like even who's winning, and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I think so. The culture. I love hip hop. I love hip hop history. I'm always like that's my thing as James. But I'm like, I think what I love about all of this is that I'm like, I love the competition of hip hop. Like I really do. And it's like as a peace builder, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for peace, but I'm like, what's peace with authenticity and what's authenticity without conflict? So I'm just like, I think that
Yeah.
like from a from a strictly like hip hop what it's been from the jump, like I love the sport of it. I really think that it's a we got some really talented people out here doing some really crazy things, and like when it first started, when Kendrick dropped the like that verse, I was
Mm,
like, that's crazy. Cause with first person shooter, I know my words to it and everything. I was rocking with it. But
mm,
I knew there was something bubbling under there because it's just yeah, the big three conversation comes up and I was like, well. So the like that verse definitely set the world on fire and I'm cool with that. And I was even cool with Cole's response. I understand that a lot of people didn't really like it and they really didn't like it when he bowed out. My thing is I'm like, yo, like I think that was a sound business decision based on what's happening now. It's like that might be your brother. That I don't know what's real, what's publicity. I'm not behind the scenes, but I think that was a sound business decision. Because I think you're right. I think you made such a great point about how like this is turning into something different. Because I think Drake, especially based on the last joint he dropped, I think he really was like, this is an exercise. This is the rap beef. I'm finally getting solidified, which we can talk about that later. But it's like then it's also like, but Kendrick Lamar is like, I hate you.
mm.
I don't, you are a cancer to the culture. You are like, I don't want you here. Bro is like, nah, like, I do not like you. And I want to make sure that whenever this is over, win or lose, like, yo, like, we can go back to the control verse. It's like, I want to make sure your core fans ain't never heard of you, bro. Like, so I'm up. I'm excited. but I'm up. I'm up. And yeah, I think somebody said in the comments, "Oh, that's my older brother. What up?" It's like, yeah, like bro, like they've been beefing for years. Kendrick has made it clear. I mean, let me take it back to BET Cipher back in like 2014 or whatever. Bro was like, "Yo, I tucked a sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes." Like I'm like, he do not like Drake. So I think I'm really interested because we've gone to like allegations now, families, and it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, I yeah, I guess that's why when I posted that thing about I wasn't impressed by the like that verse. Oh, well, I guess the main thing I wasn't impressed by was mostly just I'll just reiterate. I just said that I don't think calling somebody Michael Jackson is a diss. um, and I was just like, okay, and it also has just been going on for 10 years. So I was kind of just like, are they going to finally do this, or are they not going to do this? Because it's been almost a decade, and like y'all have been trading blows. I mean, trading little jabs back and forth, and it's like, okay, are y'all gonna put up or shut up at this point? Because it's kind of like I'm kind of over it,
Hmm.
over it
Hmm.
now. Um, and and then, well, and then yeah, yeah, and so I mean, who's winning to you? Who's winning to you?
Man, I think there's a lot of things. So let I to answer your question directly, personally, I think Kendrick is winning right now. And that's on me. And I'm gonna be real, I think Cole is winning right now. Cole is out there on the island with his kids and wife living life. So I think Cole's winning. But from a battle perspective, I do think Kendrick is winning. And the reason I think Kendrick is winning is because I'm like, I think both of these guys threw up some great bars. I think from a battle perspective, they were saying some things about each other, especially like the Euphoria and Family Matter, like the early or the push ups Euphoria, about right there. That's when I was like, yeah, like I like this. This feels like a fair fight. You know what I'm saying? And then I think when we got to Family Matters and Drake was making them allegations, I took a second because I was just like, and literally a second because Kendrick dropped 2 hours later. But like, I took a second because I listened and I was like, first of all, I was like, damn, like I kind of like the three beat switches. I kind of like that Drake, he pulled out all his little flows that he's ever done. The last verse really gave me what I think the album is Take Care, where he had like headlines and stuff. I was like, it was real nostalgic. And I was just like, he was making some accusations that I'm like, yo, like if this is real, like this is a crazy thing to pull on a dude who like don't be outside. Like
Yeah.
he's just like not. And it's like everything we know about Kendrick is from like the 12 interviews he's done over his entire career and like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I was like, if any of this is real, that's crazy. I thought the flow was cool. And then, we get dang, what came right? We get Meet the Grams and Not Like Us,
Mm.
and I was like, I mean, some of the things that Kendrick was dropping on them, and it's like we can go line for line if we want to, but I was like, some of the things Kendrick was dropping, I was just like, man, and like the whole thing about the pedophilia. And this is really where it gets me. This is really where I was like, Kendrick takes the cake because I don't want that to be the center of the conversation or my part in the conversation, just because I understand that there's like there's a lot of other things to analyze here for sure. But I do think what I'm like, I think Drake falls here is that I'm like, Drake and Kendrick have made some assumptions and said some things about the other that there might not be receipts for yet. However, with the with the predatory nature, I was like, big bro, like there's receipts for that. So there's only one way to come back to this. Like only one way Drake can come back to this, in my opinion. I think there might have been other ways, but like I feel like Drake gotta address those, give us something, give us something. And what he did with the Heart Part 6 was he said, nah, like he was like, not me. I'm too famous. And I was like, who's R. Kelly? Who's Bill Cosby? Who's
Mm.
any of the rock artists of the 70s and the 80s? Like who are these people then? If not like people who were too famous but also engaged in these same acts. And I'm also like, and then people started pulling up the receipts. And I was like, it's we're gonna see what Kendrick says next, if anything. But to me right now, on that fact, and even just I mean, Not Like Us was crazy for me. But even on that, like I think Kendrick's winning on my end. But what about you, bro? Where are you at right now?
Um, I'm actually I'm not a Drake fan at all, but I was actually very surprised. Because I personally personally did not like Euphoria or the
Mm.
616 in LA.
Yeah.
I thought that Euphoria was a little bit too biting off of, like, it was pretty much a summary of Story of Adidon a little bit. And so I was looking for something a little bit more. And it also still felt like we were throwing threats, like, you don't want to mess with me. And it's like, well, we're already here. Like, just start. I don't know again, why are we taking so long to get into this? So when Drake came out, I mean, he came out first. Well, not came out first, but I was surprised by the Drop and Give Me 50,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was impressed. And then I was also impressed by Family Matters as well. Of course, then Kendrick comes back with those are the last two was the one I'm impressed by. I'm impressed by the Meet the Grams. I'm impressed by the Not Like Us one. I was not impressed by the first two with Kendrick, or
Mm.
the first what was that, Like That
Mm.
verse. I was unimpressed by those because it's just like, again, I'm like, we're 10 years into this. We need y'all throw some hands, or just like throw some
Look, are we
hands,
gonna
or
do it,
are you
bruh?
gonna do it or you not? Like the whole like, we're beyond threats at this point, or you don't want to do this with me. Like, you've been wanting this for a long time, so just go ahead and do it. The real records came out to me at the end the other day, and so I was happy about that finally. Like, because I feel like Drake had been throwing some solid tracks.
Mm.
Not you wanting the messiness. Yes, I.
He said, "Bro, give me the fight."
Yes, give me the fight. Don't just. I don't want the talking. It's just like, okay, And I feel like Drake did that, and he delivered the first ones. And he's also getting. I know I have to give him credit because he's also getting jumped a little bit too. Because
Yeah.
he has Rick Ross, then he had Kanye,
Mhm.
then he had ASAP Rocky threw in a little bit of jabs, and then I mean, Metro Boomin, he's thrown in, I guess, a beat now.
Yeah.
Um,
BBL Drizzy.
he's thrown in a beat now for people to rap on. So I'm somebody, again, I'm not a fan. I don't think that, well, personally for me, Drake has no classic albums. I think he's more of a singles artist. And so in the heated conversations with Drake fans, I acquiesce and I give him Take Care. I mean, I give him not Take Care. I give him Nothing Was the Same. But really, I don't ever really go back to any of his projects like that. I don't think that he has, So I was impressed by his performance in this beef. I have to be honest. I mean, I think people saying that he was just getting washed the whole time is a little
Nah,
bit,
nah.
that's a little crazy to me. Like, I'm a hater, but I'm not that big of a hater. I'm not gonna lie, you know. And
Look,
so I
Kendrick
wasn't
brought
impressed.
out your hater, didn't he?
But yeah, so yeah, for me, and I do like the two, but I do feel like they're two for two at this point. I
Word.
know the heart part six. Okay, so for me, in rap beef, there are no
Of
rules.
course.
I don't care how low you go. And I know people have a lot of issues with the hard part six, but at a certain point, to me, it's they have issues with the messaging at the end of there, with him sort of kind of poking fun at the essay, stuff with Kendrick or whatever and stuff like that. But it's already kind of gone to hell anyway.
Exactly. We
with
already there.
calling him, making these accusations against him. And regardless of whether or not I think they're true or not, he has a right to feel like that's if he feels like I've not done any of these things, and he feels personally offended by them, he's allowed to feel that way, and he's allowed to take it as offensively as possible as anybody else would. And so it's kind of gone to hell anyway. And so him going to hell on that one, it's like, I mean, it's just is what it is. It's just rap to me. I don't think there is any low blows. I think you're trying to disrespect each other the best you can. So it's to me, I know that's maybe messy again, like Dom said, but that's just how I look at it personally. And so for me, they're like two for two. I'll see what Kendrick comes back with for him. So I feel like he is right now. He is up still, like he's on a run right now, and it feels like Drake is tired.
Mhm.
At the end of that song, like he's tired of going back and forth. I think it's mostly the accusations and allegations that he's tired of, honestly, which is understandable.
Mhm.
I think it felt like that was his last track. Like it felt like these are my last few jabs
Mhm.
and my last few blows, but I'm done with this a little bit. And so, I mean, I guess I just need one more, I guess, final,
Final
final
blow,
song,
man.
final blow from Kendrick for him to be like the official winner. Um, but yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now about it.
Mhm. And I love because what I love that she said too, because I'm thinking, like I think that like Drake, I am also not a big Drake fan, and it's like, in fact, I think it's so funny because the main reasons that I listened to Drake past honestly past. I would say past Take Care a little bit if you're reading this is too late. A little bit. It wasn't my
Mm.
favorite album, but I liked it. But like the main reason that I listened to it past then, is like every now and again, my older brother, he in the chat right now, he would like put something on his story and I'm like, dang, Drake still making music? Let me that one was hard. Let me get that. Let me get that. And I like, I think that like Drake is messy in a way that I'm like this if this were Kendrick, Cole, and Drake, or if this were Kendrick and Cole, I don't think we would have gotten this type of like real like messiness. Because I think like Cole is not a hater the way that Kendrick is, and I think that like it's really what really stands out to me though is that like in all of this like which is the part that I like that you said is that it's like I think like even not liking Drake, like I could see the talent, and it's like we can see the credits. We know he got ghostwriters. Like I'm not. It is what it is. I know what's happening. Like um,
Drake
and
is petty.
yeah, no, Drake is petty. Kendrick is lethal. Like, and that's the thing because it's like I think like Drake is definitely like he's holding his own. He was holding his own in a way that I was surprised for. I liked Push Ups and I liked Family Matters. Like you said, I think those were both great records. Like even just now, I was taking a shower before this, and I was bumping Family Matters so I could get myself back in the mindset. I was like, dang, like he's speaking, he rapping. I like that. I like that, and I like that like this pulled mainly Kendrick, but I would even say Drake, like back to like this is hip hop, bro. Like, I understand we've been doing the concept albums, we've been doing the pretty singing, we've been doing a lot of, a little bit of rapping here, but I'm listening to a lot of underground, I'm listening to a lot of jig because I'm like, look, bro, like I want to hear somebody rap. Like, and I like that brought this out of both of them. But I also think like what is standing out to me too, and like you said, like what I think if Kendrick drops another one is gonna be the final blow. It's kind of like Dom said, like I think Drake almost for a second, especially with the whole Taylor Made stuff, I think for a second he forgot that this was like a fight. Like
Yeah.
this is like if kid like this is I think he was trying to pull Kendrick out as though like, oh yeah, it's like nah bro, this isn't you and Cole kissing and hugging on stage. This isn't even you and Rick Ross where it's like, he's like, you fat, and Rick Ross is like, you're a white boy. Like it's
Yeah.
not that, bro. Like this is like Kendrick is trying to end your
Mm.
career and like I hate it because I think I like the competition and I wouldn't want to see necessarily either artist fall, even though I don't like Drake and even though I do think there are some things that he should definitely be held accountable for. But I'm just like, even with that, it's like it's not necessarily that I'm trying to see either artist fall. Like I want a good hip hop, but like Kendrick's coming to it with that energy. And I think that like it's kind of like when you play fighting with your like siblings or something and then one hit too hard, and you're like, bro, what's up with that? And it's like, nah, it's like that. It's like you wanted to come hard, you wanted to come for the family, or whatever the case may be. I'm fighting now. Either you put your dukes up and we doing it, or I'm throwing this haymaker and I'm leaving you on the ground. As simple as that.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of want to go back to the J because you talked about J Cole for a second. J Cole, it wouldn't be the same thing if J Cole was in the mix. And I actually was. I've been thinking about this J Cole, and I'm still upset with him not being in here. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm
I
upset.
get it though.
I'm upset with him not being in here, mostly because I feel like. Uh, and I feel like this is also going into the substance conversation as well because I made a comment about that in my post also that I feel like personally this is just me personally both Kendrick and Drake lack a level of substance that J Cole has. Um, I think that
Mm.
Drake is the popular cool guy. Kendrick, he is the linguistic king, master, wordsmith, you know. But J. Cole, he really he not to say he had every everything he said has ever been just been like great or ingenious or whatever, but more so than the other two, I feel like he does try to come from a more emotional or deeper place, or thinking about things a little bit deeper emotionally, and it's just more resonant with me sometimes than what Kendrick or Drake gives me. um yeah, like Drake is gonna give me in the club, like the club banger or whatever. Rich Baby Daddy's going up right now, whatever. It's like, and then Kendrick's gonna give me a lot of good wordplay, and stuff like that. But neither of them do what J. Cole does, which is really get to the heart. Which is interesting because the heart part six just dropped. So really get to the heart of the matter and the situation. Um, but I'll just comment. That's why Cole is at home full of peace. Well, I actually, um, I feel like I'm glad that I feel like Kendrick is giving Drake a reality check, but I also feel like a little bit that Kendrick needs a reality check too, because just on the substantive level, getting into that, on this whole like this idea that this is a moral crusade for the soul of hip hop.
Memories, man.
um, I just feel like I feel like Kendrick needs a little bit of a reality check as well, on a lot of issues, because it's a lot of hypocrisy. And Drake has made a couple of good points. I think he's tried to at least make a lot of good points about the hypocrisy going on, or that he feels is going on with Kendrick's sort of statements. You can get into the biracialness of Kendrick's statements, or the just like I understood what he meant when he said, I know people like didn't like that line where he said you're rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed. I understood what he meant when he said
Mm,
that.
okay.
Because Kendrick does like he uses kind of slavery a lot of times as like a backdrop sometimes, and it's kind of cringy.
Mm.
If I'm going to be honest with you, it's kind of cringy. Like his last project, actually, we're just headed into the substantive part of
Oh
this.
yeah, yeah,
His
hit it.
last, his last project, Mr. Morale, that song, um, I forget what the name of the song is, but the last time I effed a white bitch, like, I was just like,
Mhm.
that song, and then the ending of that song being like, the reason is slavery, and it's just like, I don't, and then
Mhm.
like, even going all the way back to even to Pimp a Butterfly, which I feel like is again, I don't think it's a substantive album.
Mhm.
Um, the King Kunta stuff, and I don't know. I feel like I understood what he meant when he said that. Like
Mhm.
it's very cringy. It really doesn't have a lot of, I don't know, like what is the depth here to this? What you're saying?
Mhm.
Um, and he uses slavery a lot as a backdrop, and it's just like, and it's not to like really delve into slavery as an issue, as a topic. It's just sort of like it's a posture to say something else that is the two things don't correlate. Like in that song, like you messing with white women has nothing to do with slavery, and it's almost a little bit fetishizing. And I just I understand what Drake meant by that line. I know everybody's trying to act like he's crazy or being racist for saying that line, but
Mhm.
when he said that line, I kind of like laughed out loud because I was like, I completely get it. Like,
I heard it.
Kendrick does some very cringy things,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I guess it's substantive. Like, I guess he's calling him out for being a culture vulture, and which he is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Nah, the whole
but
Atlanta joint that he made, a not
yeah,
like us, 100%. Yeah.
but I think I don't think Kendrick really cares about this stuff at all.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think
Mhm.
he cares about these things serious. I think he just knows that everybody else cares about them and he wants to win the battle, in my personal opinion, which is the point.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's like when you're posturing this as a moral crusade, then that's where I have an issue with it. If it's just rap and it was just like, I'm going after this guy, dissing this guy, that's fine. But it's like you know, he was the same one that said that we should stop. I never forget. He was the same one who said that we should stop picking on Iggy Azalea. She has a perfect place. She has a rightful place in hip hop, and we need to leave. She was doing Daniel Caesar before Daniel Caesar.
Yeah.
Like, like it says, I remember
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
comments. I remember his comments, and like, you know, do you really care about Drake being a culture vulture? I don't really believe you do.
No, that's real.
You
That's real.
know, um, and just a lot of stuff. Like even yeah, I guess Drake already called him out for the whole biracial, like
Right.
him and his, I guess, fiance. I don't know what the situation is over there.
Not
It's none of my
not my
business.
business.
It's not my business, but um, yeah, it's just like there's a lot of inconsistencies. Even on the SA allegations,
Hmm.
you are also you know partnering with Kodak to do this album, Mr. Morale. You are
Hmm.
also his. I'm not even gonna get into the R. Kelly thing, but the whole even like his new business partnership with like Ray Dalio. Look him up. Um,
Yeah.
like you don't have it like this is what I mean by like you don't really have an issue with these things. That's what I'm
Hmm.
really getting at. Like,
Hmm.
and so this being sort of like postured as a moral crusade for the soul of hip hop and like integrity.
Hmm.
Like I feel like if we're gonna go down this road, y'all have to
Hmm.
admit some things about Kendrick that y'all might not like, which is why
Right.
I kind of want J. Cole to be here because I feel like that's what J. Cole was trying to get at a little bit in his diss track.
Hmm.
Like I kind of saw where he was going. I already saw where he was going with the "To Pimp a Butterfly" critiques.
Hmm.
That it
Hmm.
wasn't a good album, and that it really like. And J. Cole has kind of I'm gonna say, but J. Cole has kind of been throwing shots subtly talking about fake activists for a long time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've always asked people, "Who are you talking about?
Who you
Who's he
talking
talking
about?
about?" And I've always felt like it was Kendrick. I've always felt like it was Kendrick, and then it just came out that it
Really?
was. And
Wow.
so I felt like he's been throwing shots for a minute,
Okay.
and he's been feeling away for a minute. And I feel
Mm.
like the only person that can really kind of put Kendrick in his plate, like give him a reality check, is J. Cole.
Mm.
Is
Mm.
J. Cole.
Another light
Because
skinned nigga. No.
but I feel like that's what he was getting at, and he pulled back, and it kind of disappoints me because it's now this. Now we're not. There's not a third party here to be like, okay, hold up,
Wait a
let's
minute.
back up for. Let's
Right.
back up. Well, wait a minute for a second. Like,
Right. Right.
okay,
Right.
you not, he not. Okay, we know Drake, but
Mm.
you not all the way together either. Like, don't get
Exactly.
too on your high horse. You got some issues too. And I feel like he should. I don't wish that he would have. I'm so disappointed that he backed out for that reason because now it's just a stand war.
Right. Yeah. No, it really is though. It really is though.
It's just a stand war. It's just Kendrick fans versus Drake stands,
Mhm.
and it's just like both of y'all are ignored. I don't know, but that's how I'm feeling
Mm.
about it. Right, at least the substance part of this conversation right now.
Right. Right. Like that crux of the issue, because and that's because I think like where I most